All right, all right, all right. Hello, everybody. Okay, it is 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning. Um, I'm getting through this panel slowly but surely, and more slowly than surely, I guess. Um, I'm on this layer 13. What is layer 13? I think for now I'm going to take layer 13 and merge it with the ink layer, but I'm going to make a new layer. All right, and the reason I have this new layer, so I want to do these antennas, but I don't know where to put them. So I'm going to, if I put them, you know, how messy does that look? I think it looks kind of messy. So I got to figure out. At some point, you got to commit to the bit and just sort of like, all right, this is what it's gonna look like. You know, it's gonna. This is the thing. And you know what I also noticed is I haven't been putting the tones in on the last page, so I got to put. I could probably shade some of this with tones. Um, and by isolating it to a layer, I can take it right back out if I decide okay, this isn't working out. All right, I think we're gonna. I think we're gonna try and black these out as silhouettes on the front. Last night I had a pretty good experience with colored pencils. I won't say my colored pencils are amazing or anything like that because they're not. Um, but there is kind of a joy to it. You know, it's a lot of fun to just color. And I used to find colored pencils very frustrating because they don't come out good a lot of times. There's a clumsiness to them until you figure out how it's supposed to work and until you get blending down. And I've got a couple of cheats for blending, um, and so on, where you might feel constrained, like I don't have a nice set of colored pencils. And I actually have a weird set too. I was playing with um, my Kohinoor Magic ones. They're kind of like this, like I don't know. You ever had those crayons when you were a kid that was like a bunch of crayon colors all swirled together, and it was like a big block of soap or something, and you would color with it, and you would get these weird multicolored textures. Actually, I like this with a silhouette. I think it kind of works with a silhouette. Now I could also do this just in the duotone. That's that. I have the diagonal tone. I still want to use the duotone. I think I'm going to use it maybe in the background for the shadows and stuff, the stuff that I don't want to go completely black. You definitely want your most concentrated black way up front, or surrounding the most important character. Anything else you hit with a sort of gray on the midtone, it's going to sink backwards, usually. Usually. Let's go to the... Do I even have like a tones layer? I don't think I have one. Let's call this tones. Rename tones. You know, luckily this iPad, it was top of the line in 2019. It's pretty beefy, but not anymore. Like compared to what else you can get now, it's kind of like nothing. But where's my beat tones? What if I sync all that stuff to the back? This is the inside the archways. What I'm trying to figure out is, does it make it too busy? You know, what if I... And to frame this character in the middle here. Now we're going to get a good zoom in on these 3 panels down here, but before we get to zoom in, but I want to, like when we first introduce him here, I want to zoom in on him. I think we got a good panel here, though. I think we're okay. You can see I made this rug more like a carpet by putting in, you don't have to do much to get it to kind of look okay. And I still have the tones layer up. And this is that diagonal tone. But if you just do it like in a line, you just get a little bit of a texture. We can also, these guys that are kind of standing against the wall, we can do some shadows. Because we're not doing this in color. I do almost, like for printing, if you're wondering why doesn't he do this in color. Printing in color for books is very expensive. I mean, you can do it. Don't get me wrong. There's lots of comics that are come out in color, most American comics, but there's no doubt that you can really lower your printing costs dramatically if you don't go color. And real comics, to me, are black and white. That's just a fact of the matter. I like this. It kind of crosshatches the texture I had on there. Let me get rid of this. So I think that looks okay. This feels like a nice layered panel now. Like, I think we got it. Took me 3 days just to do one panel. That's not a good track record, man. That's a slow track record. Do y'all want to make comics? Anybody listening here want to make comics? I would like to invite you to my server where we make comics and talk about making comics. And there's lots of people just like you. If you're new to comics or you think, I don't know if I could handle that, you're probably wrong. Anybody can make comics. Now, whether or not your comics are going to be amazing or brilliant, that's a question. I don't think mine are amazing or brilliant either. I am a student. I made my first comic page in 2019, but it set off an obsession because I read this quote. Okay, I'll tell you the long story. There's this quote from Todd McFarlane, who was a beloved comic creator. And he said, you got to get through your first 1,000 crappy pages to become a good comic artist. And Todd McFarlane is kind of a funny guy. He's kind of this talkative, garrulous guy, and his interviews are all very funny. I really like him a lot. And he's not afraid to show you his early work. Like he put out a book which showed like the drawings he did in like junior high and high school, and you can see from the very earliest times, like even when he was just barely able to draw, his style was all there. Like you could just see it. Oh, that's a Todd McFarlane. It looks like it's drawn by a 9-year-old, but it's definitely his style of drawing eyes or drawing, faces or whatever. Like it was all there. And I realized the same was true for me. I always draw hands the same, faces the same, its eyes the same, and you can start to kind of change it up a little bit as you get better and better. But all these questions about what's my style, I feel like it's there. Like it's already there. A lot of people don't disagree with me, and that's okay. All right, let's get on to this next panel. Get back to the ink layer and the pencil layer. So anyways, he said, okay, you got to get through your first 1,000 crappy pages. Okay, data point. All right, sounds good. Then, cartoonist Kayfabe also put about a video, and it was called Your First 1,000 Crappy Pages. And it was Ed Piskor showing his first 1,000 crappy pages. And it's stuff he did when he was like a little kid trying to draw the Power Rangers and such. It's not that good, as little kid drawings are, of course. they're usually not that great. I think I had started drawing a couple of mini comics pages. I think I had about, I don't know, 6 or something. I didn't have many pages. It might have been less than 10. Something like that. From watching some videos about comics. I still have some of those pages that I could show you. Let's see if I have them on here. Oh, the answer is maybe, maybe not. I think they might be gone. Well, but he was talking about, your first 1,000 crappy pages, and I realized I had like 1%, 10, and then at some point I kept going, right? And then and I was trying to like sign myself up for like classes during the lockdown, because everybody was trying to find something to do. And we were making comics at the Discord. I was already a member of the Discord. And I thought, oh yeah, this isn't going to be my good comic. My good comic is the one I'm going to make, 10 pages from now. Like, and I was still thinking in terms of single digits. Or double digits. Well, eventually I got to like 133 pages. I remember this moment pretty well. And I was in a class. And I was kind of showing off my little list. And I realized I have 13%. Well, 1% is not enough to really think about how you're going to get to 1,000. You did 10, you want to go to 1,000. That's not enough. But at 13%, that's doable. You ever downloaded something and you got to 13% and you go, okay, it's going to get here eventually. It's going to happen. I think that's what happened to me. And I started talking about it. I started keeping better notes. I started getting serious. I was already taking classes. And my plan when I got out of the Army, my plan was to go to the Kubert School, which was offering scholarships and, for veterans. And I was thinking, this is something I could do. And everyone flipped out. Like, I was married at the time. And everyone flipped out and said, that's what you're going to do with your life. Everyone just lost their minds. And, well, long story short, I didn't end up going to the Kubert School when I got out of the Army. I was talked out of it. And I got old. I'm old now, man. When you're old, you're old. And I thought, okay. But during the lockdown, suddenly, I just happened to be looking around online, and they said, hey, because of the COVID situation, we're going to offer some of our classes as online classes. And it wasn't just for like everybody, it was actually for some of the Kubert students so that they could finish up some requirements. But they opened it up to everybody. Now, Kubert's also had a long-standing correspondence course, which I did not want to do. I don't really believe in correspondence courses. I'm an educator myself. I work in the realm of training. In education. I won't go into details, but I didn't think a correspondence course was going to work out for me. But giving us the same virtual course that they were going to give the students, heck yes, I would do that. So I signed up for it and took the class, and it was Tom Mandrake, and I loved it. It was great. I learned a ton of things in there. There were Kubert students in there, but there were also a lot of people like me that just always wanted to take a Kubert class, and there they were. And that was cool. That was cool, man. And that kind of launched this obsession on it, and I got really good encouragement, and um, you know, and I also realized that a lot of the students that were just students, they were young, and they didn't work hard. And when you're old, I was not a good student when I was a student. Like when I was a young person, I was not a great student. But then I was in the army, and you learn some shit. You know what I mean? So, well, one of the things you learn in the army is how to work hard and focus. And so that's what I did. I focused. I decided I'm going to turn my attention to this. I'm going to make this my focus, my mission. And sure enough, I did. All right. Man, that wasn't much to the line art on this guy, but let's take a look at him without pencils. Hey, he's looking super clean. Look at that. That's nice and clean. Now what I can do is, I'm looking at, there's 3 of them. I could duotune behind him, and you notice how he takes up more and more space in the panel. It'll shrink down. Like if I duotune this entire background, it'll be smaller in this one and almost non-existent in this one. That to me feels like a cool transition. It feels like it's going to have enough contrast. Like if this were the same, we couldn't do 3 black panels in a row, or 3 duotoned panels in a row. But I think we could do 3 duotone panels in a row. I think we could do it if it transitions from darker to lighter. So I think that's what we're going to try. Let me look at the yeah, man, this will look good. This will look good, baby. Baby. All right. This is an unnamed character. He's an administrator. I might give him a name or more details later. But I think that he's doing his part. The other thing is, I had another advantage is that I already had a degree when I started out, and my degree is in English with a concentration in creative writing, and my minor is in classics, interdisciplinary classics, which is mythology, comparative mythology, with a big healthy helping of ancient Greek, Latin. I kind of hung around the language department, and there was a classics department at Texas Tech where I went. And that turned out to be a good thing, man. I'm doing these wristbands because it shows the volume. Like, see these are called cross contour lines, and it shows the volume of the hand. All right, let's get to the tones layer and get to where's my tones? Classic. Okay. Now we could go darker. Let's actually go darker. Let's go to 70%. Let's just see if it works. And remember this bit here, the beloved queen matriarch, mother to us all. That's all going to be speech bubble. In fact, I could do the speech bubble right now just to get it out of the way. Let's get to the bubble. Get to the bubble. Technical pen. All right. If we speech bubble this thing, I think that'll look good. All right, let's throw some white in there. No! Where's the hole? Where the hole is at? Where's the hole? We gotta figure out where the hole is. I don't see the hole. All right, let's do it again. Hang on. If I take the panels out, nope. Ah, I don't know where it is. All right, so we're gonna hand do it then. It's got to be somewhere. You know what? There's another way to do this. All right, let's do it this way. Hang on. We're still in the bubbles layer. Nope. There it is. What I'm doing there is, you see how I left my pen down there? That's the, it's like the threshold button on Photoshop. You're just filling up to the threshold. All right. And if that makes no sense to you, that's okay. All right, where am I? Man. All right, I'm looking for the 70%. Actually, we could even do a gradient. Let's do it. Let's do a gradient. This will be fun. We need our beat tones classic. We're going to start at 10% and we're going to do the bottom from 10%. Right? This is the bottom. And it's kind of a rough line right there. Remember, the standard is visually interesting. Okay. All right, now we're going to go from 10 to 30. We're going to do about the same amount, so there's 30. Right, you see how it's getting darker? All right, now we're going to go from 30 to 50, but we're going to go a little bit further. We're going to go up to about, I don't know. Oh, right there. All right, now obviously we got to fix this, so we just erase it around the lines where our figure is, so that he pops out. Now we could also do a halo, which we probably will do a halo on this guy, and you can do all kinds of things. Like you could suddenly I could go drop back to 10, and I could start using it as a shadow tone on the figure or something like that, or you know, there's all kinds of possibilities. All right. Now, should I have done it backwards where it's darker? I can go even further than the, where am I, at 70 or 50? I'm at 50, I think. I'm going to go to 70 next. Now, where does that leave this guy over here? I think we might have to start at the, oh wait, shit, let me fix that. I got a problem down here. Houston, we have a problem. 30%. All right. When I was in the Army, we had this one sergeant named Sergeant Houston. And he was a real dork. And I think we used to say, Houston, we have a problem. All right. All right. Let's see. We got 30, 50, 70%, and it's going to go all the way to 90. So we're going to do about right to here. I think we're getting. Anyways, I can't tell where it cut off, but my camera said this is the same thing that happened yesterday. Well, anyways, a lot of people they want to they want to contribute, they want to be part of it, and then you know they find out it's a lot of work, or they just get overwhelmed, or they lose interest, or a combination of all the above. And this happened not just to my anthology, but to other other anthologies that are out there. And it's pretty common. Making comics is a lot of work. But all I gotta tell you is that the end product is worth it. Like, it's worth it when you actually have something to show for it. You know, you've had your accomplishment. You've made an accomplishment. You've completed something. I think that's all to the good. And I want to continue publishing. Even, and I want to make this a little bit tougher, a little bit taller. I want to continue publishing because I think it's important. It's a cool skill to have. I'm going to have this skill even after I stop making comics, right? I might use it to make newsletters or zines or something else, you know? And it's just cool. It's just cool. And it all comes down to being the guy that's willing to put in the work. It's not mentally challenging or anything like that. Don't listen to people who say stuff like that. It's just work. That's all it is. It's art. It's art, but it's work. And you know, I think that's the hard part to kind of wrap your head around. It's art, but it's work. Well, making art is not supposed to be work. Well, guess what? It is. And every real artist knows that. Every working artist in the world knows that art is work. A lot of times you got to do stuff that's not fun. All right, we're going to go to 90%. This is mostly black, and so we have this gradient. It's not a very smooth gradient, I'll just admit, but it's a gradient. All right. Luckily now I don't have to overrun the figure too much. Now we could go to 100%. What's 100%? 100% is just a blackout, right? Just black it out. Which I think we can do. The importance of the scene is Shakespearean. We want to show that, okay, now that the Queen Matriarch is dead... Oh, I don't like this. Even the tone is it's, what do you call that? Tangenting the figure. So I need to bring this 90% tone a little bit further down over the hand. We can't just end it right at the top of his head. I think that would be a little bit too much. And I still think I have to halo the figure out. All right, so yeah, anyways, yeah, making comics, making art in general, it's work. That's why you're allowed to charge for it if you're going commercial. That's why you can get money for it if your work is any good. And by the way, just because you sell it one time does not make you a professional. Anybody who says that is incorrect. Especially if you only sold it to friends or family. Doing it one time is not enough. It's not enough. This is the halo, what I call the halo effect, or what is called the halo effect. And what we're doing is we're just putting a thin white outline, an erased outline around this tone. Oops. And it should be enough to pop the figure out of wherever it is. Let's take a look. Oh, it's looking good. Let me pull the pencil layer off and we'll be able to see it. And that'll be that'll be it for this video. Here I am saying it's hard work, but it's also fun, and it's also, it's good. This is not something you can just, this ain't a good place to just like slack your way through life. And I am a slacker. I mean, I'm Gen X. We invented the term, man. We are the slackers. Oh, I gotta fix his hand. I didn't realize I have tones all over his hand at this point. I guess my